Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to jump back into this Groot model, and what I did was I looked around online and I found a few more references, because when I first started this model there really wasn't much out there, and now that you look at the internet you can find a lot of references. So I grabbed a few of them, brought them in to kind of finish this little model out a little bit more detailed, so we can start looking around and see what we got. Gotta go back and either pull from what I like from this one, because there's this extra detail on the side that's not on this one, so I kind of like it without it. So I'm going to go ahead and start modeling back in here, maybe put some buttons, add some little details, and just going to start kind of getting back on this model and see what we can get done and created in it, and just back and forth. Always do these for fun. So let's go ahead and duplicate this piece right here, and we do this probably want to finish it out. So it looks like there's some detail in here, like a round part for that. So let's go ahead and push this up, get this going. I had scaled this originally, and I probably need to scale it back up if it doesn't work, because I can only go so small on my brush, and I really need it to be able to grab some of these points. The scene started getting really big, and I'm trying to work with it, but at the same time I don't want it to be massive, but I don't want it to be too small. And you can see how small my brush size will go, so I might need to go back and scale it just a little bit to kind of work in with some of the small details that I want to get. And we'll go ahead and go here. But for this, I don't think I need that yet. We can go ahead and cut that out, that piece. It looks like it's one cylindrical piece, so yeah, we can go ahead and do that. We'll use this piece to cut it out and subtract from that. Let's go to the switch box and let's find where this piece is. It's right here. Then go ahead and subtract out the inner point. So let's go up to here. And it's different whenever you find a good reference and you're like, oh, I could have modeled this differently, but we'll go ahead and fix it. So we're going to subtract this out. From this. So let's go ahead and start it from this point. Hopefully it stays in that little family. Let's go ahead and see what this does. So if I turn on the wireframe, you can see where it's going to be cutting in. Just got bullying this out. Give it a little bit. I might need to squeeze it a little bit more. Center this up. See what we got. Let's turn off this and push that down. Looks like it's got a little bit of a reach. We'll squeeze this and also center that, center to the middle. Make this a little bit skinnier too. That way we can actually get this model to get a little bit more defined. You can start to see where it's at. Let's push this over. Whenever I did this, it was real loose. And go ahead and make this taller. Push this up to about that point. So now we kind of got that built in there. Looks like there's a little bit more details going on. It's pretty cool. It doesn't hurt to have too many references. We just kind of keep building from that. For this, I'm going to go ahead and put a cylindrical piece, or append, and we'll do a cylinder. See where the cylinder went. Push this up, subtract. We need to scale this down. What I'll probably do is just have this kind of mesh down into a mesh. That way I don't have to worry about all the Boolean parts. I don't want to have to keep digging back and forth what's what. We'll see. Let's see how it goes. So let me get this, push this in, put this down, scale it down. I'm kind of looking back and forth at the reference to try to see what is what and where anything needs to be. This part needs to be a little skinnier, a little smaller. Push it out. That way we kind of got the front and back. It's good about the cylindrical piece. I can actually use that as the inset for the piece right here, so it doesn't really get lost of what I was going to do with that. So we'll see what we can do with that. So center this. I'm going to duplicate this, make a copy, and then let's push this over and scale it down. So now I actually have something to work with. So we'll scale this just a little bit, just so it's in there. You can see that it's kind of like a donut kind of shape. So we'll go ahead and play with that. Get that working for this. So we'll need that. Let's go ahead and this is where probably need to scale this model again. I try to kind of go back to its original size, and the thing is that it's kind of, it was back and forth. I was trying to keep it to be a certain scale, and then I realized that I need to probably play with that a little bit more. So let's push this in and we'll smooth it out. Let's do the dynamic. So now you can get that same look of this in there. We get rid of this little kind of rough part. You just add another edge loop. More edge loops, the cleaner it'll get. And then if you have the subdivisions on the dynamic, it'll also clean it out. So 4 is not a bad number to go from there. Let's see how we got it. And there you go. Got a little piece going, and we're going to continue that to the other side. We'll mirror it over. So now I'm going to mirror this little piece. Let me see if I can get that in there. I could probably duplicate this and just flip it around. So let's do that. Just go with this. Got a duplicate. Rotate it 180 and just drag it. Normally I'm real picky about modeling hard surface and measuring and this and that, but we're in ZBrush, so I'm just kind of getting stuff done. 3D Max or any other program, I usually try to measure accurately. If it's for an architectural scene, yeah. But for what this is actually just, you're just getting it done pretty much. So I can smooth these out. Let's go ahead and use these edge loops. Wrong spot. So turn this off. We could crease it, but sometimes I just want to be able to play with those points. This in there. And we'll probably add one down here. And then dynamic. So now you got something that looks like that. And this is where you kind of get lost and just keep modeling. Model one piece, go to the next. Model one piece, go to the next. So let's see what happened right here. So this part right here folded in on itself. So when I turn on dynamic, it doesn't know what to do. So what we can do is actually put an edge loop on this and just see if that fixes it. We'll just close that gap and then turn on dynamic. And now you got more of a crease. On the top, if I really want to make it a little bit more sharp, we can just push this edge loop on here. Now that'll fix that. These techniques kind of come back and forth from other programs doing this. They all kind of work hand in hand once you kind of get the idea of what the program's trying to do or where it's going whenever you put a creased object in there. So now we got the object kind of modeled out. Looking at the reference, it might need to be a little bit taller. So let's see what it looks like. I think once I mesh it into a Boolean object, I could probably just not really worry about it. So we'll just carry on with what we got. I'm gonna go ahead and want to create that mesh, but I don't want to do it too soon and need to change something. So let's go ahead and see what we got. We got all these pieces. Let's see what we got right here. Center this up. Probably do a duplicate of everything that's selected. Let's see what happens. Just cross our fingers. Everything's still selected. That's not really what I wanted. I'd have to go back into each object and now I gotta remove it. So it seems to be fine. It just did the one object. Let's make sure. Yeah. So it'd probably be easier if I make this into a mesh and then start duplicating this stuff out. But let's go ahead and move some stuff around. I got this, so let's go ahead and do that first. Almost looks like they're both a little bit on center to this piece. So let's go ahead and move this over. Every piece I could probably duplicate as I go along. Let's see. I'm gonna kind of keep it together until I really think I need to mesh it down. I don't want to have to try to edit something and then it be a little bit more difficult than it should be. We'll just make these as one mesh too. That's not too bad. And we got both the little pieces in that duplicate set. So let's see what we got. We got the little dowels in here. Let's see. So a little better. And from a distance, you really can't tell like the little details. Once you start looking at it, it just, your eye goes to fill in the blanks whenever you start looking at things like this with all these little pieces and knobs and textures, and it all gets buried once you kind of like add all the little parts together. Even here, there's so much going on. All right, those I'm gonna probably scale after I remesh them. It probably should be bigger, but for now we're gonna leave it as is, because I think the other reference, it looked kind of like a little bit taller, right? You could always scale it up, push it up, have it going. So we'll adjust it in a bit. We'll just keep going. I don't want to lose the focus just because. Be like, unless, let's see if we can select two folders. Let's see, transpose set and transpose add. These two are in there, but I really want this. Let's see if I can grab them. Okay, let's center this gizmo. We're going to drag it down so it's on 0. That way it scales from this pivot point. And we can probably fill in that space. So we're going to drag this just about below. Push this back. As long as everything's happy, we can probably get away with this. So let's go ahead and scale this up until it fills about the width of the space. It might work out for what I need. Look at that. Taller and it might work. So there you go. Quick fix on there. Let's go to the next part. Let's just start adding little pieces here and there. So it looks like there's a little flap or something. And on the other image, zooming in, there's something there. It just looks like a rounded piece with a hole in it. So let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and append the cube. So let's make this into a regular cube. What I'll probably do is scale the scene again because I really need it to work for me to be where I can get my brush size smaller. Kept messing with the scale and now I'm just like, I don't want to mess with it anymore. Tired of it, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. Just keep going. Keep on moving forward. So this piece looks like it goes right there. Just gonna shape it. A lot of this is just gonna be eyeballed. I'm not trying to get too crazy with this. So you can either make the hole from geometry or do a Boolean cutout for this. So either or works. I think they both kind of come out about the same speed, I guess. Think about it. Go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and crease this edge. Now you can start to see where it's going. Sliding that down. So now we can turn this dynamic back on. I'm going to get a Boolean tool and Append. I probably need to clean the scene up a little bit better again. Cylindrical. Yeah, see how massive that is? So my scale's off somewhere. And I had scaled it a different way, and then I was just like, well, I didn't want it to be messed up. And I don't remember what happened. It's something to do with the cameras didn't like me scaling it, and I was like trying to find an answer to a problem. I was looking in the wrong spot, and kind of solved the problem, but kind of made it all the way to the other side of the fence. You know what I mean? So now I gotta make my way back. Okay, and then we got a hole. And then what we can do is actually, I already need to subdivide this one time just so that gets the clean geometry on the inside. That way it's not too messy. And then I can go back and whatever, use this as is and clean it up for what it is. So let's do that. Let's make a Boolean mesh. Let's keep the subdivision. I'm gonna say, let me check something real quick. Mine's kind of fuzzy today, but let's go ahead and do this. Boolean mesh. Let's see how long this takes. I should have saved. Always save. You never know what you're gonna get, and then you're just like, oh man. Whether a program crashes or anything like that, or you're just kind of doing something and it just locks up, and no auto back or anything. You just got to backtrack your steps and just kind of yeah, learn that lesson. So okay, some could not be performed. Okay, it's fine. Let's go with this. Let's go to our Boolean. Should be this. I think it's this one. Nope, that's my transpose. This looks like this looks like it. I actually got these pieces as the Boolean. I could actually just bring those in, so it's not so much on the program, but I just really want this. Since I already got this, I can delete and delete and append. Now I got my little Boolean piece in here. I don't know what this is. Let's see what that is. Okay, cylinders. They've actually got a weird point on them. I didn't realize that they kind of went that way. Let's see what happened. I don't know. That's interesting that they did do that, but it's not a big deal. I'm just gonna remesh it, clean it up, or replace them. For now, they are as is. I'm almost curious if it's some of the scaling and back and forth I've been doing with this program or the file. Okay, so let's go to the little back panels. So I get some stuff put in here. I wanted to actually add some more details onto his leg, since you might see some of that. And since we're at it, let's save. Let's save. Save as Groot 15. Yeah, why not? Just save where we're at. Did some earlier scaling, and that seemed to be the file that I went with, but I need to scale them just a little bit so I can get in there a little bit better. Let's do it. We're going to go Subtool Master, see now Transpose Master, and let's just scale them just slightly. So go here. And I should have brought in that cave. I keep forgetting to grab that. Let's go back in. Let's reset all this stuff. The little cave was actually a headache that I keep forgetting, because I'm thinking when I do this that I might use Unreal, and since Unreal now supports Nanite and everything else, and Lumen, to drop this in there and then use some of the Quicksort stuff to kind of just skip some of the headache of trying to model all these rocks. It needs to be fun. Just kind of learn a little bit as I go with some of the Nanite stuff. So let's go ahead and scale this up. And you know what? Even though I built this, I'm going to delete that. It's been kind of a pain. We already got the idea. He's in a cave, so let's delete it. Just get it out of the way. I think that's kind of some of the issues of scale has been coming from. So let's see. And we could do Scale Master, set scene scale. This is pretty small. Let's select Groot's head and see where he's at. Sliders to subtool. So we could probably put his head at 200. Resize all. We already saved, so it's not gonna hurt. So let's try it. Let ZBrush run through each subtool, scale them up a little bit. So help me so I can grab the polygons a little bit easier too whenever I'm doing the Z modeler. I need just slightly a little bit bigger, and that's where I'm kind of having trouble. There you go. Let's see if we got it big enough to. So these little things, we had trouble scaling down to it. So it's about as small as I can go. I'm afraid to keep going bigger, but. Probably was my dynamic. Yeah, it was. It was my dynamic. I want it to be on dynamic. And here's where I need to be. It's probably going to try to force me. No, we don't want that to be on. Leave me alone. I don't want it. I want this to be off. ZBrush is like trying to force me to do something. I don't think so, ZBrush. See, it keeps toggling itself on. I keep trying to turn it off. We'll see who wins the battle. Okay, there it goes again. That's where it kind of led me to rescaling the model, because this dynamic kept toggling itself on. See if this fixes anything. I'll either lose the model and explode it, or it'll fix it. So a lot of this headache always comes with scale, and it's never like a fun thing whenever you're trying to figure out like where your scale went wrong or what's going on whenever you're in a program. Like even other programs like 3D Max, if you scale something like a light and then you try to like shrink it back down, usually you'll end up with some kind of issues. Like I always remembered being in V-Ray, and that would pop up where somebody would scale something, and that happens there too. Okay, so that's workable. That's a good enough size for what I need. So let us save, because as long as I get to where I need to be, it don't really matter. Just kind of spin my wheels a little bit, but let's get to the save. Okay, let's go to the next piece. Probably this down here. So it looks like when I modeled, this was one big piece. Let's go ahead and append. You can do any kind of append, really. You know, whenever you go to the Initialize, you can always create a cube. Go from there. If you have it selected, and I probably had the wrong thing selected. Whatever that was. Let's go back. Turn it back to what it was. Let's turn you off. What do we initialize? Something. It's my little thing. And you gotta make sure you don't select your other models when you press that. So we're gonna grab this model and turn it on, initialize. Turn these all down. Make it a cube. So we'll just make these little latches on here. Scaling this up and down. So when you look at it, you can actually use some of the cool tools that ZBrush has in here. We're going to do the modeler, Z modeler. It looks like you can just make a loop on this. So let's go ahead and insert, and we're going to go put a loop, because you see the loop, the cut, and then another cut. And And since ZBrush is pretty cool, we can just push this down. You can actually get rid of that. Let's see what we got it on. Single poly, Q mesh, push down. And just gets rid of that. Now you got a little piece. And if you have to adjust it, you can actually just grab pieces of it. Just push it up. There we go. Another cool tool you can use is a subtool master, I believe. Let's see. It pops up. Where'd you go? It's probably behind us. So let's see. Mirror, and looks like it's wow. Let's try it. Where'd you go? It wasn't the Y, but still pretty good. And delete hidden. Let's do that again. It wasn't the Y. Mirror. We can also use this mirror and weld here too, but this is also another tool just to kind of show. It looks like the Z. Let's go with the Z. Is the Z on the way back over here? That in. Let that autosave kick in. So we got that now. Okay, let's see what else we got. Kind of like a little hole cut out into this model, and it looks like we could probably play around with this. Let's see what we got. Let's make this a little smooth. Tighten these edges just a little bit. See what we got. So there's two little holes on the model. We can either use a boolean or we can model it in. But for now, we'll just see what we got. Pinching. You can see the pinching of the edges on that. I was just like trying to figure out what that was. So let's see what we got. We got two little pieces on here, and we got let's see what it kind of looks like rendered. I lowered the rock detail, so there you go. So, okay, it's about 30 minutes in. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a little stopping point, but kind of made a little bit of progress. You kind of saw some of my headache with scale and then little things here and there. I'm still kind of battling the scale. I think after this video, I'm gonna look at it later on and try to figure out if I can find a sweet spot to get that dynamic to work without trying to break my scene. It seems to be working for now with what I need, but there's always like, whenever a program tells you like no, you're like, come on, man. Like, you're supposed to do what I say. And the program was kind of, ZBrush kind of snapped back at me. It's like, ZBrush, it's me, stand down. So, but yeah, just a little bit jumping in here, trying to get some of this model. I saw a comment on YouTube asking where the next video was, and so I figured, might as well pull it out. And it's always something. It's always good to get a little push to kind of move forward, and always appreciate that too. So you never know who's watching at the same time. So hope you learned something. Hope it was informative, and yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day.